There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes something inside is changing. The life she once accepted no longer fits. The silence she once tolerated becomes too heavy. The dreams she once buried began to speak again. Across the world, women are questioning everything they were taught about who they are supposed to be. They are rebuilding, they are redefining, they are rising. Rooted in Rising Radio is where those conversations began. This is a space for truth, a space for courage, a space for women who are ready to reclaim their voice, their power, their purpose. Here we talk about healing, identity, business, faith, reinvention, and the real journey of becoming the woman you were always meant to be. If you're in a season of transformation, if you feel the pull toward something greater, if you know deep inside your spirit that you are meant not to play small, you are not alone. You are not behind. You are simply between seasons. Welcome to Rooted in Rising Radio, the sound of women rising.
Mornings feel like mountains. Even breathing feels like weight. I know that kind of quiet, where every thought cuts to the bone. But you are not your worst days. You're more than what your head has shown. You have so much to live for, more than you can see tonight. There are laughs you haven't laughed yet, hands you haven't held that tight. You have so much to live for, even if you can't believe. So when you feel like letting go, lean on me and stay and breathe. There's coffee with a stranger who might turn into a friend. A song you write at midnight that you'll never want to end. A road you haven't driven, where the rain lets down its guard. A day you finally tell yourself, I made it this far. That's hard. You have so much to live for, more than you can see tonight. There are laughs you haven't laughed yet, hands you haven't held that tight. You have so much to live for, even if you can't believe. So when you feel like letting go, lean on me and stay and breathe. You don't have to be the strongest. You just have to stay one more day. We can sit here in the silence till the dark gets bored and fades away. You have so much to live for, more than you can feel right now. There are tears that turn to smiling. You'll get through this storm somehow. You have so much to live for, even if you can't believe. So when you think it's all been said, I'll be here. Just stay and breathe. heard you say you're tired, like every color is drained away. Mornings feel like mountains, even breathing feels like weight. I know that kind of quiet, where every thought cuts to the bone. But you are not your worst days. You're more than what your head has shown. You have so much to live for, more than you can see tonight. There are laughs you haven't laughed yet, hands you haven't held that tight. You have so much to live for, even if you can't believe. So when you feel like letting go, lean on me and stay and breathe. There's coffee.
Welcome to another episode of Rooted in Rising Saturday morning show. I am late, so please forgive me. As you know, I am Coach Cynthia. I do Rooted in Rising Radio on Saturday mornings, usually at 11 o'clock, but we are very much so late. But please, you guys know by now, probably know by now that my timing sometimes is off. So we're going to go ahead. Not only do I do Rooted in Rising Radio over here, I do Rooted in Rising podcast over on my Substack. Usually Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I try to make sure I do it on those days, like I try to make it on Saturday mornings. I also do a first Monday renewal ritual. We do that. It's a workshop I do every first Monday, which will be this Monday. It's going to be the first Monday. We start that at 7 o'clock. And if you're interested in being part of that, you can let me know, and I can actually send you a link over here. We're on YouTube right now. I haven't kind of put it, I haven't streamed myself in other places yet. I'm getting better at that. Then we have our Saturday and Wednesday. So tonight I have another show at 7:30. That is part of our Legacy Liftoff workshops that we do, or classes we do. We are we're in the middle of our fourth book that we've done with the workbook to go with it. And the Inner Strength Developing Emotional Intelligence for Everyday Life is what we're working on now. I'm excited about that. Then we are, and then I have a show I do on Public Access TV. And it's called the Empower Her Talk Show. So everything kind of goes together into my coaching series for everything. So I'm going to continue that. But before we do that, I am going to definitely give you guys some more music before we get started with that.
They try to chain my fire down low, but flames don't bow. They only grow a spark inside, a voice to show the world my name is written bold. We rise like the sun in the sky. No fear, no lies, just truth in our eyes. We're queens, we shine. No crown we deny. We rise, let our spirits fly. My roots are deep. My My soul's a tree, branches stretch wide, unbroken, free. Through storms I stand, through hate I see, the strength of all who came through me. They said hush, we said no, they said stop, we let it show. We rise like the sun in the sky. No fear, no lies, just truth in our eyes. We're queens, we shine, no crown we deny. We rise, let our spirits fly. Treasure unmeasured, untold.
We are back. We are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the Rooted and Rising Saturday. It's supposed to be morning show, but it's not. So if you hear a fan or see a fan, it's because that's my perimenopause fan. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. That is my perimenopause fan. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So this is part of our Survival Nation series that I do for our Saturday morning show. This episode is going to be talking about living in constant stress. As you know, there's so much going on right now in this world, right? Everybody's complaining about prices of everything going up, the way things are looking, this war, so much going on. And I think we have more control over things than we think we don't. I really do. I really believe that we have more control over things we think we don't have control over, but we really do. Okay. Um, and I think we should take that for granted that we do. If we understand what we have control over, I guess that's mainly what it is. We need to understand what we have control over when it comes to how society and how our lives are going. Lots of times we don't realize that, but yeah, we definitely have more control over things than we want to say we do. Um, and because of that, it kind of makes us, it kind of makes us, it gives us more empowerment to understand that we do. So today we're going to get deep into this. First of all, I want to say good morning, my beautiful souls. Okay. Um, I want to also again say welcome to the Rooted and Rising Radio Saturday morning show. Um, this is a space where healing meets hard truth, the space where women are allowed to be honest about what they are carrying, what they are surviving, what they are becoming. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. My I have to have my notes because if I don't have my notes, then it's a lot to keep in my mind, right? I am so grateful that you choose to spend part of your Saturday morning with me. Now we're in afternoon, so Saturday afternoon with me. Whether you're sipping coffee, cleaning the house, driving, working, sitting quietly with your journal, or simply just taking a moment to breathe before the demands of the day begins. Already, we're probably in the middle of the demands, right? Um, I want to say again, welcome. So, this again comes from our survival mode nation series. Um, and I think I did one on my other podcast, but this one right here I think is very, very, at this moment, is very important. Living in constant stress. Okay. Um, this is this survival mode nation series um, is where we're exploring what happens when survival stops being a temporary season and becomes a permanent lifestyle. Because if we are honest, many people are not living, they're surviving. Sometimes we have issues with understanding what that means. And survival has become so normalized that many of us don't even realize how much stress we're carrying anymore, because we've actually made it part of our lives, right? We've gotten used to it, um, used to rushing, used to worrying, used to overthinking, used to the financial pressure, used to the emotional exhaustion, used to the uncertainty, used to carrying invisible burdens every single day. And today I want us to talk about something affecting millions of people, okay? Something many have accepted as a norm or normal, something that is quietly impacting minds, bodies, relationships, and entire communities. Today, we're going to be talking about living in constant stress. You're listening to Rooted in Rising Radio Saturday morning show, a place for honest conversation about healing, emotional wellness, womanhood, resilience, personal growth, spirituality, identity, and finding ourselves again after years of survival. Because healing begins with truth, and today's truth is many people have forgotten what peace feels like. hmm So let's go ahead. Something just went through my head and I had to catch it. Like, okay, stress has been become the cultural identity for many of us out here. Um, I want you to think about something. When was the last time someone asked how you were doing? Like, honestly, had a conversation about how you were really doing. And you responded, I'm stressed. I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm busy. I'm exhausted. I love that because last night I was talking to one of my besties. I'm sorry. I was talking to one of my besties, and that's how we usually start a conversation. No matter what's going on, we always ask each other, how's your day going? How's everything going? How's your life going? How's the kids going? The whole 9 yards. So I asked them, they asked me, and I asked them that all the time. And the reason why it's so important is to hear from them really how they're feeling. So I find myself, because I am not in a stressful moment, so I can't say, oh, I'm stressed, and it's not me not telling the truth, it's how I am. So I ask them, and they tell me the same thing. So it's important that that communication is open. People don't usually say that. Usually, if they're going through something, even my husband has a habit of saying, like I'll say to him, "How you feeling today?" Or You feel all right? I'm fine. I'm fine. And I find myself doing the same thing. When the reality is, I know he just lost a cousin and he lost a brother in law. So I know that things are bothering him. And I don't push it on him. I said, he says, I'm fine. And I said, okay. Because pushing him to say I'm exhausted, pushing him to say I'm grieving, pushing him saying I'm a little down, it's not going to get the answer I want. Because I know that's how he deals with things. It's part of the grief, is part of the survival. I just got to get through this. I got to get through this. Survival. I got to make it through. I got to keep being here for you. I got to keep doing the things I'm doing. We all do that. But we don't really always be honest about being overwhelmed. We are not always honest about how things are going on in our lives. For some reason, we are so afraid to do that. But it's all right. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay? So, and I just said, automatically say, I'm fine. I'm all right. Because that's what happens. For many people, those responses have become an automatic. Stress has become part of our vocabulary, right? Part of our routine, part of our identity. We live in a culture that almost celebrates exhaustion. Like it's a pat on the back to be exhausted about everything, right? People compete over who is the busiest, and we stand on it and we're happy about it. How dare you be more busier than I am? Who is working the hardest, who is sacrificing the most, who's carrying the heaviest load. And somewhere along the way, many people began equating stress with productivity. With productivity, being stressed out. It like I mentioned it before on the show last Saturday. It's like we're on a hamster wheel. Just keep going and going, going and going, going and going, right? In a circle. And we feel like we've done something, right? As though being overwhelmed is somehow proves your value. So you equate being overwhelmed with being valuable. Crazy. Being stressed all the time is a badge of honor. It is a warning sign, okay? It is a warning sign. Your mind was not designed to operate in crisis mode indefinitely. But that's what we're doing. I notice now we talk about our nervous system and how our nervous system is out of whack, right? Our nervous system is going through so much because we're compounding the stress of life on it, right? Your body was not built to remain in a constant alert mode, right? Yet millions of people wake up every morning, right? Carrying anxiety before their feet touch the ground. Sometimes when I get up in the morning and before I put my feet on the ground, my mind is already going. What am I going to do today? Do I have everything set up? Am I doing this like I'm supposed to? Okay, what do I have on my list for today? What do I need? This has to be done today before your feet even hit the floor. And some people just jump out the bed and start. I try to always, when I get out the bed, put my feet on the floor. I love the cold floor, right? So I put my feet on the floor and I say, thank you. That's the first thing comes out of my mouth when I get up. Thank you. Before I stand up, before I stretch, before I do anything, I say thank you. And then I proceed on my mind racing. Then I let my mind go to whatever it wants to go to. All right, you guys, we're going to take a small break before we go into the next segment. When we come back, we'll be talking about survival mode changes the brain. Okay.
You left your sweater on my chair. Smells like sleep and summer air. Funny how a cotton thread can pull me back to what we said. Love isn't worth it anymore. I'm done keeping tally, done keeping score. Every promise feels like setting myself up to fall. You call it magic, I just see the crash. Guess I finally learned it after all. Love isn't worth all. My friends still ask about your face. I just shrug and change the place. Scrolling past your little light, a tiny screen, a sharper knife. Love isn't worth it anymore. I'm done keeping tally, done keeping score. Every promise feels like setting myself up to fall. You call it magic, I just see the crash. Guess I finally learned it after all. Love isn't worth the fall. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. All that I know is I lost the fight. I gave it my best, got less than the cost. How do you bargain with something? Love isn't worth it anymore. I'm done keeping tally, done keeping score. Every promise feels like setting myself up to fall. You call it magic, I just see the crash. Guess I finally learned it after all. Love isn't worth the fall.
There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes something inside is changing. The life she once accepted no longer fits. The silence she once tolerated becomes too heavy. The dreams she once buried began to speak again. Across the world, women are questioning everything they were taught about who they are supposed to be. They are rebuilding. They are redefining. They are rising. Rooted in Rising Radio is where those conversations began. This is a space for truth, a space for courage, a space for women who are ready to reclaim their voice, their power, their purpose. Here we talk about healing, identity, business, faith, reinvention, and the real journey of becoming the woman you were always meant to be. If you're in a season of transformation, if you feel the pull toward something greater, if you know deep inside your spirit that you are meant not to play small. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are simply between seasons. Welcome to Rooted and Rising Radio, the sound of women rising.
All right, we are back. We are back here on Rooted and Rising Radio, Saturday morning show. Even though it's no more long, it's no longer Saturday morning, right? So this next point I want to make is we're talking about survival mode changes the brain. So now we're talking about how it's going to affect us now physically. Now that we realize that these things are happening, how does it affect us physically? One of the most important things we need to understand is that constant stress changes us. Constant stress changes us, not just emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. When the brain perceives ongoing stress, it begins prioritizing survival automatically. Not joy, not creativity, not peace, not survival. Excuse me, not peace, but just survival. And when survival mode becomes chronic, people began experiencing, difficulty concentrating, that's right, irritability, emotional numbness, fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, overwhelm, and hopelessness. What things to think about while again, this is how survival starts to contain you. Whether we know it or not, we know now that survival has power over us. Okay? Many people believe they're simply getting older or becoming less motivated or losing ourselves, when in reality, that's not true. They're experiencing the effects of prolonged stress. Wow. The nervous system becomes overloaded. The body never fully relaxes. The mind never fully rests. And eventually, exhaustion becomes a norm. Okay? Oops. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see if that worked. I'm trying to figure out a way where I don't have to hold anything in my hand. Okay. Um, so we now see how survival and stress starts becoming part of who we are, right? It starts becoming how we see ourselves. It starts becoming um, an everyday phenomenon, right? If we want to say it that way. And because of that, we are dealing with so much, we don't even realize it's happening lots of times. Okay? We don't even realize that we're going through these things. We don't really realize that life doesn't have to be this way. It's that way because we allow it to be that way. Okay? So we're going to take a little more, another little break here.
Hello, my name is Salita, certified empowerment coach and founder of a space dedicated to helping women of color heal, grow, and rediscover their power. I help women who feel stuck reconnect with their confidence, purpose, and voice, because you were never meant to simply survive. You were meant to rise.
All right, we are back. I just thought I would share that with you. We are back. That is a new mini series that is coming up June the 11th. I told you I'm doing a little bit of everything, and it's called The Parish Files. I love storytelling. I love mysteries, thrillers, and all that. So I had wrote a book called The Unsolved Shadow Murders of Louisiana. And I said, okay, instead of just actually having it in book form, let me do it a different way. So I thought to do it like this. So the first episode will be premiering June the 11th at 8 o'clock here on YouTube, but it's on the Parish Files at Parish Files 2026. So if you are available, you definitely can get in there and watch that night. So I'll be actually getting some questions, and we're definitely going to be talking about the Parish Files. Hopefully, I'll have some more, get me some more clips together so you guys can definitely kind of check out some of the stuff we're going to be doing over there. I'm so excited. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into our next point that I want to make: women and invisible stress. So, this is the time when I want to speak specifically to the woman. Um, because women often carry layers of stress and it remains unseen, right? Many women are balancing careers, caregiving, relationships, children, aging, parents, financial concerns, community responsibilities, emotional labor, and much of this work goes unnoticed. Women are often expected to continue functioning regardless of how overwhelmed they feel, right? They keep smiling, keep nurturing, they keep producing, keep giving, even when emotionally depleted. And we talk about this all the time of how exhausted we become, even when we find ourselves. And sometimes, you guys, I have to say this because I can say it from my standpoint. Sometimes the busy work we do, like we talked earlier in the first point that was made, that we are competing with to see how busy we can be. Sometimes that's where a lot of our stress come from, because we're so busy, so busy trying to compete with everybody, right? Trying to see how, this is what I do, this is a list of things I do. We don't have to do that all the time. And we don't realize we're doing a total burnout. And we have to understand when it's time to step back. And a lot of times we do not know how to step back because we've been doing it for so long. So we don't get, hey, I gotta step back away from this for just a moment. We don't get that. We don't understand how that works. That's the crazy part about it. We don't get it. So we keep producing, we keep giving, we keep smiling. This is what we're doing. And the emotional depletion starts to take over. But we keep doing, we keep doing, we keep doing. And because women are conditioned to be the caretakers, many feel guilty when they rest, right? They feel guilty when they just need to breathe, when they need to just go in the bathroom, not needing to use the bathroom, but just needs to go in the bathroom and try to hold everything together. Sometimes we do not realize how deep our stress can be until you feel the muscle in your heart tight, or you feel, if you understand what a stroke is, that's when realization kicks in and we realize, man, is this what we're doing to ourselves? Yeah. You need to rest. You need to rest. When someone tells you you need to rest, rest. And don't feel guilty about resting, because that's what we do. We start feeling guilty about resting. Why? We feel guilty about asking for help. We feel guilty about admitting that we're overwhelmed. So instead, they carry the stress quietly. We keep doing it. And that quiet stress accumulates. So it's like a buildup, right? It's like you keep building. Like if I keep putting water in here and it's already up at the top. So if I keep putting water in, eventually that top is going to bust off of here if it's already open, right? If I add any more water in there. Wow. Look, flimsy. So if I put any more water in there, it'll fill it up and fill it out. But eventually it's going to overspill. And so that's what we do to ourselves on so many levels. We carry our stress quietly. And that quiet stress accumulates year after year until burnout arrives. Until burnout arrives. And so we're there. We're there. So we'll take a break, get some more music in. If you hear my dog in the background, that's what they do. Definitely, we'll be back.
I talk too fast, you check your phone. I laugh it off, but it cuts to the bone. You say you're here, but your eyes drift past. I'm stuck on pause while you play me half. I need you to listen, not fix me, not spin it. Just sit in the silence, hear what I don't say. I need you to listen to the cracks, to the distance. If you can't stand my quiet, how can you stay? I swallow words till my chest feels tight. You call me cold when I choose not to fight. You hug and hurry, every heavy truth. I don't need answers, I just needed you. I need you to listen, not fix me, not spin it. Just sit in the silence, hear what I don't say. I need you to listen to the cracks, to the distance. If you can't stand my quiet, how can you stay? Can you hear the shaking in my breath? Can you hear the history in my rest? I am trying, are you with me, are you trying? I need you to listen, not fix me, not spin it. Just sit in the silence, hear what I don't say. I need you to listen to the cracks, to the distance. If you can't meet me honest, please walk away. We swore we had it figured out, kept our feelings on the shelf, nice and quiet, laughing like it's all a game, saying we're too smart to ever fall in private. Then your hand brushed mine too long, we both looked down like it was nothing. But I felt the floor tilt slow, felt the rules we written start crumbling. We left the door unlocked. Didn't know what we were letting in. Said our hearts were safe while we cracked them open just a bit. We never saw it coming. Still we watched the warning signs glow. We left the door unlocked and let it break us from the inside. Slow, 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 You kept calling it a phase. Said you'd leave before it ever got heavy. I joked I'd never change my ways, but my voice shook every time that you held me. Pretended we were just bored. Blame the night, blame the wine, blame the weather. Both of us building escape routes while secretly planning a forever. Maybe we wanted it to hurt enough to prove it was real. Maybe we needed it to crack the parts we swore we never feel. Standing in the ruins now, admitting what we both already knew. We gave the keys away and hoped the storm would somehow miss us. Don't know how to start this. Tell me where your heart is. Mine's been torn apart since I found out the hard way. It was never my way. I was trying to make you love me. Baby, why'd you come here? I can't make it so clear. Tell me, what do you hear? I'm screaming on the inside. It's been a hell of a night. I think I should go. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. Don't know how to start this. 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 Don't know how to start this.
Welcome back to the low side or the downside of the Rooted and Rising morning show here Saturday morning. It is already at the end of the month already. I hope you guys love the music that I bring to you guys. I love doing this. Today I'm kind of off, but that's all right. It gets better as I go. Um, so now that we learned and recognize that the things that we're going through in life is not normal, the stress that we deal with is not normal, right? So, and the ideal that we compete to outdo each other, we compete with all the things that we do in life when we don't have to, but we do. The ideal that we stay busy all the time, right? Sometimes this empty busyness is not good for us. We've created ways of um, the added stress. We compound our stress on top, and after a while, that nervous system starts to act up. When your nervous system starts to act up, everything else starts to act up, right? So we have to learn to be able to balance all the stuff that we're going through, or we can just walk away. And there's no guilt in feeling, there's no guilt in feeling tired, exhausted. There should never be guilt in that. You're a human being. You break down just like a car does, right? You break down just like a house can, right? So you have to keep that in mind. You're not a machine. You're not a robot. You're a real person. And there's nobody out there to fix you but you. Keep that in mind. So I am going to order my prescription to you is honestly, truthfully rest. That's my prescription to you. Okay? Now, so now I want to ask you something. What are you carrying right now that nobody knows about? Not tell me. I don't want to hear it. Okay? I am just asking you this question because I want you to hear what the answer is. What stress have you become so accustomed to that you stop acknowledging it? What burden have you convinced yourself is simply part of life? That is a deep question. That is a very deep question. We have made so much stress in our life the norm. That is not normal, right? Take a moment and think about those questions, what I just asked you. If you have a journal, which I proudly keep, this is my journal. I am almost done with it. Ooh, I only have this much left. A journal. That's it. Because I constantly write in it. This is just a regular book. I found this. I thought it was so cute. Um, so I found this at our Ollie's, Circle Ollie's, and I love it. Right. So use those questions and write them in your journal, and take your time and answer those questions. Okay. Because once you say that you're aware of these things, that's when the healing begins. When you recognize all the things that you're doing to yourself without realizing it, or you know it's there, but it becomes part of who you are. That's just who I am. I stay worried all the time. I stay stressed. I take anxiety. That's just who I am. And do you know how many times you say that? How you've actually created your mind? You have molded your mind into thinking that's how your life is supposed to be, right? That's how your life is supposed to be to you, right? So, this next point I want to make is when stress becomes your personality. One of the most dangerous things about chronic stress is that eventually it starts feeling normal. Remember, I said that? People stop asking, why am I living like this? And start believing it's just adulthood, right? This is just life. This is just how things are. But constant tension is not peace. Constant worry is not stability. Constant exhaustion is not success. But we've made ourselves believe that it is. And if we're not careful, we began building our identity, around stress. And we wear it as a badge of honor. Man, that's just how things are. I just got to go ahead and do it like this. Things are, we start making excuses for being exhausted. We start making excuses about why we're not resting, why we're not taking 5-minute breaks, why we're not meditating. I just don't have time to do all that. I don't have, but you make time for everything else. Why not make time to just sit quietly? What's stopping you? Because a lot of times, like I said before, a lot of times we do a lot of busy work that doesn't mean anything. And if we're not careful, we began building our identities around stress. We become the overwhelmed person, the exhausted person, the depleted person, the anxious person, the person always putting out fires. Yes, the person who never slows down. And eventually, we forget who we are without pressure. You ever meet anybody that all their whole life is this roller coaster, always something going on, drama after drama, all in everybody's business? And I'm not saying that in the negative way all the time, but I'm saying it to signify something. Always just doing, doing, doing. Gotta be here, gotta be there. And then they sit back and they love to brag about all the things they do. And then it's not them. Um, I think a lot of times when people do that, some of them are really, those are warning signs. Those are their warning signs to say, really, I don't really want to do all this, but I'm doing it because somebody needs me. Somebody got to do something. If they don't do it, then who's supposed to do it? We always do that. Well, if you don't do it, who else is going to do it? I don't understand why we do that, but we do. And sometimes you have to pick and choose what you really need to be doing. If it's not part of your calling, your purpose, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Why do you feel the need to do it? Not because nobody else is doing it, but why are you feeling the need to do it? Do you really need to do it? Really? I wonder. Okay. Eventually we forget who we are without pressure, right? Without urgency, without crisis. What I tell you, the drama queen. I shouldn't use that because that can be derogatory towards some people, saying drama queen. I don't want to use that word, so I take that back. Um, this is basically really talking about us in survival mode, the busyness, all the stuff that we do in survival mode, because this is what it's all about. It's how we found our way to navigate through this world we've created for ourselves, that we've made a norm. We made it a norm, and we should have never made it a norm. So I'm going to take a break and we'll be back.
Are we really gonna do this? You laugh, then you bite your lip. Have a drink on the table, have a promise we never said. My jacket on your shoulders, your head pressed into my chest. You say, I don't need a label, but your fingers won't let go yet. You trace circles on my head, like a sign is something big. Every line says maybe, but your eyes say this is it. Are we really gonna do this thing called love? Jump first, heart racing, hope it's deep enough. Are we really gonna name it? Say it out loud. This thing called love, cold love. Are we really gonna do this now? You list all the worst case stories, every ending that came too fast. I point at the open doorway, say we could always walk right past, but your keys drop in the bowl, shoes kicked off by the door. You say I'm kinda terrified as you pull me in once more. We're a question in the hallway, we're an answer in your grin. Every doubt says run away, every heartbeat says begin. Are we really gonna do this thing called love? Jump first, heart racing, hope it's deep enough. Are we really gonna name it? Say it out loud. This thing called love, called love. Are we really gonna do this now? What if it hurts and it hurts together? What if it fades and we fight to remember? What if it's real? You say, what if it's us standing here, still scared, still choosing trust? Are we really gonna do this thing called love? Jump first, heart racing, hope it's heart racing, hope it's deep enough. Right here, right now, this thing called love. Guess we're really gonna do this Ooh, yeah. Oh, said that you were better than her. Told you I was waiting to see. Thought you were a nightmare to win. Baby, I was starting to think that I had a problem, and you were the cause of why I feel like I've been losing my mind. I don't need a warning to tell me the morning is better when you're out of my life. Your things are at the door, your things are at the door. 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 Ooh, yeah. Oh, said that you were better than her. Told you I was waiting to see. Thought you were a nightmare to win. Baby, I was starting to think that
See me talking with the mute button on. Apologize for that. So we're on the next segment. The next segment is really talking about relearning peace. One of the hardest things people living in a chronic stress is learning how to just be still. And yes, that is the hardest part. Always feeling like you have to be doing something. Always. You like I said, you get up in the morning, you put your feet on the floor. I say thank you. Some people hear the baby crying. Some people see the dog coming down the hallway and saying they're ready to go out, or the husband saying, "Is my coffee ready?" I'm just saying, right? Peace can feel unfamiliar if you've never had it. If you've never experienced peace, peace is uncomfortable. I know that sounds crazy, but it is. It's very uncomfortable for some people. I just said that, right? When you've lived in survival mode long enough, calm can feel suspicious. Because you know what we always say? Calm before the storm. Because we're so stuck in survival mode. Always. And we're in survival mode all the time. We find ourselves feeling like that, right? You begin waiting for the next problem, the next crisis, the next disappointment, the next emergency. But healing requires teaching the nervous system something new, which sometimes it's hard to do, right? That not every moment requires vigilance. Not every moment requires urgency. Not every moment requires fear. Sometimes healing starts with small acts, taking a walk, sitting quietly, journaling, praying, setting boundaries, saying no, asking for help, resting without guilt. Small moments that remind your body you're safe right now. The chaos that is going on around you, don't worry about that. I'm here. I'm here. I'm being present in that moment. And that's what's important at the end of the day. That's what's important, is getting what you need. Understanding it's all right to ask for help. It's all right to feel like you need to rest. It is not normal for the body to be in constant movement all the time. And that movement is not a healthy movement. The body and the mind constantly, over and over again. Your body and your mind deserve rest. And it's nobody's responsibility but yours. Do not make excuses why you cannot rest. Do not make excuses why you don't deserve safety. Quit with the excuses. You have these cell phones, you have watches. Time yourself. And time yourself if it's every hour, on the hour, out of that hour, you take a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break from anything that you're doing. It's not that you have to leave your desk if you're at work or anything like that, but just stop. Stop thinking, stop doing everything. Be still. Be still. And I know that's hard to say, but that is what is needed. That is what is needed in order for you to do something different, for your nervous system to start getting back on track. You're human. You break down mentally, emotionally. You break down. And so you have to do that. So, to everyone listening this morning who feels exhausted, who feels overwhelmed, who feels like they have been carrying stress for so long, they no longer remember what peace feels like. I want you to hear this. You're not weak because you're tired. You are responding to the pressures that were never meant to be carried endlessly. And maybe healing doesn't begin by fixing everything overnight. It takes time. Maybe healing begins by acknowledging that you have this issue, that you're tired, that you're exhausted, you're depleted. And you can say this: I have been surviving for a very long time. Say that out loud to yourself. And once you acknowledge that, we can begin something different. We can begin creating something different, something healthier, something gentler, something more sustainable. So, I want to hear from you. And I know I'm on here on YouTube. I definitely want to bring this over to my other channel, my Facebook pages, my Instagram, so that, and I don't know why I didn't add my Facebook page in here. I, I don't. I usually do that, but I am going to put that on there so you guys can find yourselves talking back to me. I would like for you to leave a comment if you can here on YouTube, or like I said, you can go over to my Facebook page if you watch this, because I'm going to transfer this over there. What causes the most stress in your life right now? And what is one thing you could do this week to create more peace? Those are good questions. I think I'm going to put them questions on my TikTok notes. I think that's cute. And what is one thing you could do this week to create more peace? Um, your story might help someone else. Keep that in mind. And this is why it's so wonderful to be able to have a story, right? Nobody can do this by themselves, you know? And that's why I love the classes that I do, the workshops that I do with young women, because they get to realize things that they did not realize. These questions I can ask them. I don't expect for them to answer them out loud. I only expect for them to answer them to themselves. And if they want to explain themselves, I don't have a problem with it. I'll allow them to do that. I don't have a problem with that. If they think they have a need to explain it to me, they do. But then again, I always ask them another question to go along with what they're explaining to me. We're responsible for ourselves, point blank. We're in control of ourselves. When you allow power, when you allow survival to have that much power over you, you're going to be living in this constant chaotic world. You're going to, because you have in your mind, you've got to do this, 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 without taking a break. And you've got to take a break. Okay? So, this is an affirmation I want to leave with you guys. Repeat these words quietly to yourself. I do not have to live in constant survival mode. I deserve peace. I deserve rest. I deserve support. I release the belief that exhaustion equals success. I honor my mind. I honor my body. I honor my spirit. And I am learning to create space for peace. Oh my God, I love that. Let's say that again. I do not have to live in constant survival mode. I deserve peace. I deserve rest. I deserve support. I release the belief that exhaustion equals success. I honor my mind. I honor my body. I honor my spirit. And I am learning to create a space for peace. Oh, wow. Yes. I love that. I love that. Okay. So our soul note is, before we leave, before we shut down the show, I want you to remind yourself of something. Stress may be common, but it was never meant to become your permanent home. You deserve moments of joy, moments of stillness, moments of rest, moments where your nervous system can finally exhale. Because life is more than surviving. Life is also meant to be experienced. And perhaps the first step toward healing is giving yourself permission to stop carrying what was never yours to carry alone. Mm, mm, mm. I want to say thank you for spending your Saturday morning with me, or Saturday afternoon with me. And today, conversation touched your heart. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, right? And share it with someone who may need this message. Join me on Substack for deeper conversations, reflections, and healing journeys. Until next time, stay rooted and keep rising.
You kept the gate too tight, hands on every swing. Told the little wild hearts how to sit still and sing. Names in a row, all neat, dust on their shoes. but the grass grows crooked when you cut the roots. They got their own sky, their own way to fly. If you love them right, you don't clip the line. Don't hold them back, let them be free. Let them run hard, let them be free. Break that chain, open that door. Don't hold them back, not anymore. I saw a boy with chalk, drawing maps in rain. I saw a girl on a porch, calling out her own name. You can build a fence, but you can't build a soul. Every seed knows sun, every heart knows a road. They've got their own sky, their own way to fly. If you love them right, you don't clip the line. Don't hold them back, oh, let them be free. Let them be free. Let them run hard, let them be free. Let them be free. Break that chain, break that chain. Open that door, open that door. Don't hold them back, not anymore. Maybe they fall, maybe they climb. That's how they learn what's truly mine. I'll stand aside, hands open wide. Love is a field, not a cage to